On this episode of TiPS, what if I told you the biggest liar in your ECC isn't a prank caller, a bad CAD note, or that one officer who swears the suspect ran north? It's actually your sensors. Yep, from air quality detectors to panic buttons to occupancy sensors, IoT devices out there fail quietly. They drift, they misread, they lose calibration, and sometimes they just invent data because the battery is dying and it's feeling a little spicy. So what happens when that bogus intel hits your CAD? Disasters get dispatched, resources get wasted, and responders lose their trust in the system. So let's talk about sensor drifts, stale data, and silent failures, all coming up next on TiPS, Today in Public Safety.
Welcome to TiPS, Today in Public Safety, your go-to podcast for today's breaking stories and public safety news. Here's your host, Fletch, with today's tips.
So picture this, your ECC gets an alert from a school. CO detected in basement, evacuate. Great. Engines roll, EMS stages, the principal panics. Fire crew arrives, meters the space, and nothing. Zero. Nada. Just a cranky, uncalibrated CO sensor screaming into the void like it's auditioning for American Idol. Welcome to the world of IoT lies. Welcome to TiPS, Today in Public Safety. This is Fletch. I'm a NETA certified ENP, and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday I bring you the latest, most informative, and occasionally sensor calibrated takes on emergency communications. Today we're going to dive into the problem that almost nobody in public safety wants to talk about, but absolutely everyone is about to feel. The silent failure when sensor networks lie to your ECC. Let's be honest, the public safety world is a swimming pool of IoT sensors. Schools have them, warehouses have them, offices have dozens hidden in ceilings, behind walls, and in the HVAC systems like cybernetic dust bunnies. And every vendor insists that their sensor network is flawless, reliable, and, oh yeah, AI-powered. But here's the truth that we really don't like to say out loud. Sensors drift. Sensors fail. Sensors lie. And worst of all, they fail quietly. So let's look at these problems. The first, sensor drift. The slow creep into wrongness. Most IoT sensors will rely on components that will degrade over time. Heat, humidity, dust, vibration, even age itself changes how they read the world. CO sensors go nose blind. Temperature sensors adopt their own personal reality. Pressure and water sensors slowly start to hallucinate. And unless you've got someone recalibrating them, which actually no one is doing, your ECC is going to start receiving alerts that are technically valid, but practically useless. Then you've got the false positives, the boy who cried wolf. Then you've got your false positives, the boy who cried IoT. When a sensor fires every Tuesday at 12:14 p.m. for absolutely no reason at all, guess what happens? Your call taker starts ignoring it. Your CAD gets desensitized. Your responders start getting annoyed. And eventually, the one time it's real, nobody believes it. In public safety, trust is the currency. And junk sensors drain your account. Number 3 is the false negatives, the nightmare scenario. False positives are annoying. False negatives are catastrophic. A water sensor fails to notice a burst pipe. A smoke detector underreads because humidity threw it off. Or a panic button's got a dead battery. It doesn't work at all. This is where IoT goes from cool and futuristic straight to evidence in the lawsuit. Number 4 is stale data. The poisoned well. One of the worst failures out there is the quietest. Stale data being reused as if it's live. A vendor API goes down. A sensor goes offline for 3 hours. But the platform still shows the last good reading, just as if time simply stopped. So the system thinks the door is still locked, the room is still empty, the temperature is still normal, and the elevator is still on floor 2. Meanwhile, over in the real world, the building is screaming, nope. Next is when APIs lie, the silent middleman. Sometimes the sensor will be just fine, but it's the platform with the issue. Middleware can cache old data. Cloud dashboards can refresh slowly. Maybe API tokens expire, webhooks fail. Meanwhile, your ECC sees a pretty green check mark, but nothing behind it is actually alive. Why all this matters to NG911. As NG911 starts to mature and more enterprises push IoT intelligence towards the ECC through EIDO data and the next generation 911 data pathways that are being paved right now, bad data becomes a threat vector. Not cybersecurity, not hacking, just bad sensors. The next generation of calls are going to include things like building telemetry, environmental readings, panic signals, occupancy count, camera links, changes in access control. So if we don't verify, validate, and timestamp all this data properly, we're building an NG911 house of cards. So what we can do to fix it in the real world. Here's what ECC leaders and vendors must start enforcing. Sensors, well, they need to report their calibration age. If a CO detector hasn't been calibrated since the Obama administration, yeah, we don't want it. The data has to be timestamped to the millisecond. Oh yeah, and if it's more than 60 seconds old, flag it, don't trust it. APIs need to start exposing health and heartbeat signals. Not of people, but of the devices. No heartbeat, no trust. Oh, and vendors, they need to stop hiding the sensor error states. They've got to start giving dispatch the truth, not the marketing version. IoT's got to participate in the overall NG911 confidence ecosystem. Location confidence already exists. Camera confidence is emerging. Sensor confidence needs to follow. Here's the bottom line. In the era of NG911, AI decision engines, and data-driven responses, bad data is worse than no data. Your ECC can only make good decisions if the world is telling the truth. And right now, some of those sensors are absolutely lying. That wraps up today's episode of TiPS Today in Public Safety. Thanks so much for listening. For more updates and insights, remember to follow me on social media at Fletch911. And you're welcome to visit 911tips.com, where you'll find a complete archive of all of our previous episodes. Looking for longer form content? My blogs are available at fletch.tv, and you can find my professional website at fletch911.com. Stay safe, thanks so much for listening, and if you're in public safety, thanks for what you do every single day. Stay safe and take care. We'll catch you next time.
You've been listening to TiPS Today in Public Safety, your go-to podcast for today's breaking stories and public safety news. Hosted by Fletch and available every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Catch past episodes on 911tips.com. Be sure to like and subscribe, and remember to join us each week for the latest on NG911. I am Spider Harrison, the official 911 voiceover dude. Catch me on Sirius XM on various channels, including 90s on 9, the 10 spot, and on the weekend countdown on Hits 1. Or don't regret it for the rest of your life. Either way, I'm good.